We are live. What is going on, everyone? Thank you all so very much for being here. Everyone that's tuning in at this time, I greatly appreciate it. Anybody that's watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's just me for a few minutes, and then Jake is running a little behind. No big deal, and he will be on the stream, so you'll get both of us here shortly. But in the meantime, you get me. You're stuck with me, and you get to enjoy us. And we will talk. I will dive into the big segments. And stuff like that once Jake gets here. In the meantime, let's say hi to everyone in the chat. I really appreciate y'all. Let's get this dub tonight, boys. Mo and Braun reportedly playing against the Pels, so I can pull this one out. It's massive. No Nurk, no Grant for Portland. Yes, we got to get this W, right? No excuse, no reason not to. We have size now. We have a little bit of everything, right? Like we're in a really good spot. And so I'm hoping that with this squad, we can pull out a W against the Portland Trail Blazers. We need it. We need it badly. We need a couple teams in front of us to lose to. But we got to beat these teams in front of us that are tight. You know, the Warriors, the Blazers, the Thunder, the Pelicans. Like all of these teams, we have to beat. We cannot afford to not beat these teams. Whether we have LeBron, whether we have someone else, no matter what, whatever it is. Let's get this win tonight. If we can beat Golden State, we can definitely beat Portland. Get better soon, King. Yes, facts. I'm with you. At least we know LeBron doesn't drive down the lane much. His ankle been hurting him very badly. Yeah, hopefully he gets back to being 100%. 80 can give me at least 25, 16, and 2 blocks, please. That would be lovely. This is the game where we need AD and the role players to step up. I'm not putting pressure on the new guys, though, but AD has to be better. He does have to be better. We need him to be better. I think AD is the best defender in the world. I'll say he's up there. I mean, him and Giannis. If anyone goes, well, we can sub in Jake and Tyler since Darvin Hamlin's small ball. Yeah. Hey, I'm there. I'm with it. Whoa said a couple days ago, Clippers were interested in Russ, but talk slowed down, and now Heat and Bulls are the ones that are going to sign him. Possibly, if he even decides to leave. That's a real question, too, in and of itself. Like, does he I mean, supposedly he's taking a couple days or whatever to think it over and decide what decision does he want to do, where does he want to go. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I think point guard wants Russ. PG wants Russ, but Kawhi doesn't like Russ like that. I really think he goes to the Bulls. I think the Bulls make a lot of sense. I am all for it. Let's get this win, Lakers Nation. I am with you. Let's get it. What's going on, Speedy? Appreciate you being here. What is up? What is up? Like I said, Jake will be here shortly. He will be here soon. Yes, let's go. We need to get this dub tonight. Speaking of Jake, he's here. Let's go. What is up? How are you? How you doing? Just blowing through this chat real quick, and then we'll start talking.
All right.
Lakers game or no game? Lakers game. Let's get it. What the heck is wrong with LeBron's foot? I don't know. I mean, it's just probably soreness. I mean, the dude's been killing himself the last couple days or last couple weeks. I mean, trying to get that scoring title and stuff. I'm sure he'll be all right. Yeah, if anyone deserves a couple days off, it's him. It's just we're just not in the position for it. You know, if we were in a better spot, it wouldn't be a big deal. But right now, it's like, ugh. Hope in the offseason we can sign and trade Buddy Hield and that first round pick, 2023. I mean, it depends on how our guys shape up. I mean, we might not need him, depending on how things shape up. But I wonder if front office is going to keep him or not. New reports sound like they're not happy with him at all over LeBron. I don't see them firing him, but you know, time will tell. We'll see. Mo will be eligible to play Wednesday. Yes. Ham is still starting D'Lo and Dennis. Do we trust Reeves to run the second unit? I mean, it worked last game. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I get wanting to start Dennis and D'Lo at least now. I wouldn't want that long term moving forward.
I called it. I'm telling you, I called it on the last stream. I knew he was gonna do it.
I don't mind it at all. I don't think it's bad. I mean, look, D'Lo and Dennis give you two completely different looks, and it was noticeable. It was very noticeable against the Warriors.
Yeah,
because like you didn't know, like, is D'Lo going to slow down, methodically attack the bet? Like, what's going to happen? It's just two different paces, which is nice. And it just gives the Lakers two different looks. Ideally, I'd like Dennis off the bench. But I get it right now. You got all these new players. You want some stability, right? You don't
Yeah.
have LeBron. So run Dennis, run D'Lo. You have the two of them operating as like the two ball handlers because you don't have LeBron James. When LeBron gets back, I think the lineup changes. I think at that point, once LeBron gets back, you take Dennis, you put Dennis into the and do the backup role. Maybe you bump up Reeves. So you got D'Lo, Reeves, LeBron, AD, and Rui, and then there's your lineup going forward. That's my guess. That's how I think they're going to approach it. But again, time will tell. Everyone's saying, "What's up, Jake?
What's up?"
What's our best closing lineup for defense? Personally, I think you go Reeves, Russ, Vanderbilt, LeBron, and AD. I think that'll end up eventually. I think at some point that'll end up being our closing five.
Would you add like Christie in there? Christie and no, not yet.
No, not yet. He's got to get a little more.
Maybe now after AD and LeBron leaves, I could see it like being like Christie.
I mean, eventually, I think he steps into that role. Eventually, I wouldn't even be surprised if he steps into that starting role. He's got to get a little experience under his belt. I mean, he's 19 years old. Will Barton to the Lakers. I would love it. Yeah, apparently the front office isn't happy with him playing LeBron heavy minutes, and I don't blame them. But how much is that? How much of that was LeBron too? And Adam coming in hot with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Let's get it, Lake Town.
Absolutely.
115 million%. We have to get the win tonight. Playing Portland, no LeBron, but we have more than enough talent, more than enough depth. We should be able to beat Portland.
We beat Golden State without LeBron, without LeBron. So
at home too.
At home, I mean, they did have Steph, but Steph hasn't been playing.
Yeah, but still, even without Steph, they've lost 6 games all season against the at home. So that was a game that was winnable. It's a game that we did win. I like it. We need to keep doing that. Also, Portland has Grant and Nurkic out, so they're missing their second and third best player. So there's no reason at all that we shouldn't win this game. No reason at all, at least in my opinion. The Pacers are killing us, though. Pacers are terrible now, and it's killing me. We need the Pacers to beat the Jazz, and they're getting smacked with 5 minutes left, so that's probably not happening. And then Pelicans or Thunder, whichever one. And then we need the Mavericks, man. Mavericks need to stop losing to the Timberwolves. But anyway, again, Adam, thank you so much. We really do appreciate that again. And then we were here, I think, when LeBron comes back, Dennis runs the second unit. Likewise, that's how I think this shapes up. I really do.
I hope.
Russ, defense, underrated AF. He has one of the best D ratings on our team. Same with Malik. Yeah, they're both going to be good. And I think a lot of people saw like, okay, Russ isn't that bad defensively, which is good. But Jake, we're here talking. What did you think of the new look Lakers? What were your thoughts on the new guys?
I like it. I think everybody has a role to play, and you're going to see everybody kind of fit into that role. And I don't think we're going to see a little bit of like swapping and like handing off responsibility. But no, I like it. Nice, efficient, aggressive flow. I like it. It definitely feels like we have a new team. Like it almost feels like we have a brand new team. And it's fun.
I mean, we do essentially.
Well, no, essentially, yeah, we do. I mean, yeah, no, really.
Yeah, literally. Like outside of like AD, LeBron, and outside of AD, LeBron, and maybe Austin Reeves, I guess, and Schroeder, all like 5 out of the 6 guys are probably going to play heavily. The only one that'll kind of be the odd man out is Devon Reed. But even him, I wouldn't mind him getting a little burn. But regardless, I mean, Vanderbilt obviously was the fan favorite. He was the guy that really stood out. He was the guy that was absolutely killing things. But I really like what he brings, the energy, just being all over the floor. Next person I was going to bring up, which ties into Adam's super chat, which again, we greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's very kind of you. Coming in hot, $10 super chat. I love it. But it says, don't even trip. Malik and Russ combined for 8-14 tonight from 3. We win 112-101. I can absolutely see that. And you might not be wrong on that score either, which is nice. But to go into like what Adam's saying, like, you know, Malik Beasley, sorry, Malik Beasley. A lot of people were concerned, you know, 0-6, stuff like that. Over, you know, I got tons of people in the post game show, in comment sections over on my personal channel. A lot of them were just talking about how, you know, oh, Malik was 0-6, guys forget how to shoot, blah, 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 blah. He's fine. Keep shooting. The guy is 7th in the league and made threes. He'll be great. You know, he's a guy, look, that has always been kind of streaky. He is one of those guys that's like, he's either like 6-7 or he's like 1-5. Yeah. But just in general, like the guy's gonna get looks that he's never gotten before. The guy's gonna get like just plays that he's never gotten before. There was at least 3 of his 6 shots that he just clearly forced. You know, like, I mean, just clearly forced that he would have wanted to get back, would have wanted to take back. But it happens. Nervous, first game, wants to make a good impression. D'Lo's balling out. Vanderbilt's balling out. He wants to come in and establish himself. And I get it. He'll be fine. We still won the game. Still good defensively. Still provided a lot. That mid-range, my favorite thing out of everything is that we now have like 6 or 7 guys that can operate in the mid-range. That is so huge come the playoffs. So huge come the playoffs. Because teams
aren't anticipating for it. But go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say teams run you off the 3 a lot harder in the playoffs. Teams pack the paint, make the paint a lot more of a focus in the playoffs. The paint and the 3-point line are the 2 places that teams love to prevent you from scoring at. And that basically leaves the entire mid-range open. That's why usually you see the teams that are the best teams in the playoffs and go into the deepest runs usually have several guys that can score in the mid-range. Think of Phoenix, think of Milwaukee, think of Boston, like teams, Golden State even. They have guys that, yes, they can shoot the 3. Yes, they can score down low. But a lot of guys, Devin Booker, the Warriors have 3 guys, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole. I mean, Andrew Wiggins can operate from the mid-range. Celtics have Tatum, Brown. That is very important. And now we have D'Angelo Russell. We have LeBron James. We have Dennis Schroeder. We have Austin Reeves. We have Rui Hachimura. Yeah. We have Malik Beasley. All of these guys that can come in, knock it down from the mid-range. Anthony Davis, right? And that is very important. So I'm not worried about Malik. Malik, I think, will be fine. I agree with Adam. I wouldn't be shocked at all if Malik and Russ are 8 of 14 from 3 and just lighten it up. They're going to get good looks. Portland isn't the best perimeter defensive team, so they're going to be able to operate. They're going to be able to hit some shots. They should get some good looks. I really like what we're going to see, and I really think Adam's going to be on the money for that. So in general, but obviously D'Lo, I want to kind of break down each individual player. So I think a good place to start is D'Lo, because D'Lo, I think, is going to be the guy that makes the most noise for the Lakers. Yeah. And I think you can make the argument that he may end up having the most impact overall for the Lakers.
Agreed.
Vanderbilt's
definitely.
Vanderbilt's impact is going to be huge, and we'll touch on him more in a minute. But I think what D'Lo provides is that 3-level scorer. That guy that can get to the hoop, score in the mid-range, score from 3-point range, really kind of provide just multiple ways to score. And it's nice to see. I mean, that was huge in the Warriors game. Having him being able to operate and navigate and not knowing, is he about to pass? Is he about to pull up? Like, what is going on? Like, that is something that is very important.
Yeah.
A guy that can play make, a guy that can go get you 15 to 20 a night. If you need him to get you 25, he can get you 25. Like, that's perfect. A guy that has played the role of the second, third best player, right? Mm-hmm. He's going to play that here. He's a guy that I think is going to have a huge impact. I think he's a guy that, in many people's eyes, is going to stand out the most.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will really see D'Lo and be like, man, that's it, the home run guy, this, that, the other. And I do think he will in a lot of ways. But what are your thoughts on D'Lo as a whole?
No. I agree with you. I'll tell you something else too. Specifically, kind of referring to what we've seen already. I really like the pick and roll. Like they should definitely run the pick and roll with AD and D'Lo more because the couple times that they did it worked beautifully. Like after seeing Russ run the pick and roll with Westbrook with with AD.
You're good. I call him Russ all the time too. I mean, he is.
Yeah, no,
He
it's
is
just
a Russell.
Russ and Russ. But
Yeah.
Westbrook after seeing that, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I've seen like a cleaner, like more effective, but I don't know. Him and D'Lo, like if they could click and they could connect, it could be dangerous. It could be dangerous. The thing is with like D'Lo too, like he's efficient to the point where like he's gonna get us a guaranteed. He's like you said, he's a guaranteed bucket, right? So like you're always gonna get production out of him. Now he may not drop 30 points every single night, but he's gonna give you, 10
We don't
plus,
need him to
15
though.
plus. Well, that's what I'm saying. You're right. We don't. But the thing is, since he's capable of that now, I feel like, and this is kind of what we were talking about a couple weeks ago with LeBron having that like second strong option, right? So like of course he has AD. Like he has a heavy scorer in himself. He has AD, and he knows like now he has a true scorer in D'Lo, and I feel like this is dangerous. This is dangerous because when you put LeBron with two strong players that can score at any given moment on the court, yeah, I think this is going to work out really, really well. I think he complements him. I do want to see him play with LeBron though. I'm still curious. Like I said, we've seen it before, but I want to see. I want to see it how it looks now. But from what we've seen against the Warriors, I think he's going to be the most impactful. I thought Rui Hachimura was going to, but after seeing, I mean, I know it's one game, but after seeing,
I mean, Rui hit some big shots, man.
No. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Like we can't sleep on Rui. Like that's why I have him in my top three of like most impactful players. If you guys didn't see that video, definitely go check it out. But I will say, I agree with you. I think D'Lo is going to be the most impactful.
Yeah, I do too. And I mean, also, look, I think Rui is great. I think he adds so much to this team. It's insane, right? I mean, that midi, we talk about the midi all the time.
The midi's smooth.
It's as butter as it gets. It is smooth. But the reason I think D'Lo also will have the most impact is just simply he's a guy that has the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
Right. So he's the one that's controlling and kind of dictating things.
Yeah.
Like the Laker fans said here, D'Lo plays under control because he's right. I mean, he does. You see him, like even in the game against the Warriors, you saw him navigating. You saw him, pacing himself. He's a slower player, right? Yeah. He's more James Harden than Russell Westbrook, right?
Agreed.
Like James Harden in the sense of like, he operates, gets into the lane, kind of slow-mo. Oh, here's a dime, here's a floater, here's a step back, here's a spot, like that kind of thing. Like you don't see Harden's not like running gun crazy. He can in moments, but he's more of like a slower pace, operate in the half court. That's D'Lo. But that is what we need. Our half court offense was atrocious. But you know what we had against the Warriors? A half-court offense.
Yeah.
And it worked, and it was nice. And you saw even Malik Beasley, which we'll dive onto him more in a little bit, but just the floor spacing, you saw the impact. You saw that the teams had to go and challenge. D'Lo gets the ball. They have to run and try to close out. Beasley, they have to run and try to close out. Reeves. Now we have 4, 5, 6 guys that teams actually have to go close out on because if you don't, they're going to make them pay. Yeah. Right before that, we only really had like Reeves, Lonnie Walker had some moments here and there. Beverly was picking it up as of late, but there were a lot of times where people were like, we'll take our chance with Beverly, right? Like now it's like, no, we can't. We have to go and close out on D'Lo. We have to go close out on Beasley. All of those things I think they're just the gravity is just going to be huge for this Lakers team.
Without getting into too much of a deep comparison, who do you think is the better overall point guard between him and Westbrook?
Against D'Lo and Westbrook?
Yeah. No, not for this team, but just overall. Because with this team, obviously the question's kind of obvious. Like, the answer's kind of obvious, but just overall impact. Who do you think is the more efficient all around better?
See, that's the problem because they're two different.
And it's agreed. It's a hard comparison because I was racking my brain trying to figure this out the other day too.
So, because Russ, they're two completely opposite play styles too. Like it's not like like they're just not cut from the same mold. Where D'Lo's the better general fit in point guard for most teams.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so pretty much every team in the league could add D'Lo and make it work. Right. Because he can shoot. He can operate in the mid range. He can play off the ball. He can play on the ball. He has good size at 6'4", right? For a point guard. So he's more generalized. You can play him type thing.
Yeah.
Where Russ, you can't just plug him into any team. Like he has to be on a very specific team, and a team that's more built towards him. So who's the better general point guard? It's D'Lo's the better general point guard because you can fit him anywhere.
Yeah.
Russ is, I mean, he's a beast in and of himself, but he's very, like, you have to have a very specific team around him. You can't just plug and play Russ on any team like you can D'Lo.
That's true.
So that's the difference. And that's also why it helps the Lakers because D'Lo's just such a better fit.
Yeah.
In general. So that's just some things to kind of keep in mind. And real quick, before we move into our next player, listen to Feet. Feet's got it right. What's up, guys? How are you? Like Feet said, everybody hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Take a quick second. We finally cleared 3K, which is very, very awesome. We are very thankful.
5K, guys.
Yes.
5K.
Now we got to get to 5K and then 10K. So that's the goal. And so yeah, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. We would greatly appreciate it.
That was our Super Bowl present to ourselves. We hit 3K on Super Bowl day.
Let's talk about that real quick before we move into Vanderbilt here. What'd you think of the game?
I did not watch it. Did not watch it.
Why not? Was there a reason?
Oh no, just hanging with family.
I thought you were gonna watch the game when I called you yesterday.
No. I was rooting for the Chiefs. I wasn't gonna watch it, but like we were just kind of chilling out. No particular reason. I wanted to, but I heard it was a great game. I heard it came down to like a nail biter by a field goal.
You disappoint me. How dare you?
How was it though? Tell us about it.
It was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. The Chiefs won. I should have bet on it. I would have bet on the Chiefs, but I didn't bet on it.
We both thought they were gonna win too.
I did. I thought they were gonna win. It just was too close. The two teams were just too close. I didn't want to risk like reasonable money. I mean, I could have thrown like $100 on it or something, but nah. Yeah. You know me. I gamble. But
go big or go home, right?
Yeah, but it was cool. We had a little like just kind of hang out Super Bowl party here.
Nice.
Nothing too crazy, but yeah.
I didn't even get the Zoom invite. Wow.
You weren't even watching the game, so it doesn't matter now, does it?
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
Look at you, embarrassing us as a unit. How dare you? But I mean, let's move on to Vanderbilt, because we got the game starting in 45 minutes. So let's get through our segments. That way, everyone go enjoy the game. I know you and I want to enjoy the game as well. But Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt, he's the guy that his impact, and I mean, a lot of people saw it in the Warriors game. His impact is ridiculous. I mean, his first 4 minutes, he did probably in 4 minutes that what like 90% of the guys we all traded away did the entire time they were Lakers. Literally, he's that impactful. The thing is, though, is a lot of his impact is not going to show up on the box score.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a guy that's going to go get you 20 a night, right? And very likely in the long term, people are going to look at it and go, man, Beasley and D'Lo, those were the guys, right? And again, we'll touch on Beasley here soon, but primarily because of offense. We live in a very offense-driven world now, right?
Yeah.
Most people, they like to see the offense. They want to see the offense. They want to see the scoring. They want to see the highlights. They want to see that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, Vanderbilt will get the highlight dunks and stuff just on like putbacks or lobs and stuff like that. But he's going to be the glue guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be the guy that is just everywhere, does everything well. Monster. If that guy develops a shot, he's going to be terrifying. That dude is going to be terrifying. Because, I mean, and we already saw his ability to knock down the mid-range. He had a nice little mid-range jumper. His ability to just go from rebound to bucket. Yeah. That was huge, right? I mean, he got the rebound, was able to just cruise up the court, little spin move just to add a little flair, and then finish. I mean, the guy did everything. Yeah. Everything. The scary thing, he's 23 years old. So we could have him for the next 10 years, and he's still in his prime
too. Like he's
he's solid. He's got good size, 6'8", 6'9". He's gonna be the guy that we're gonna put on and stick on, KD, on Paul George, on Kawhi Leonard, on Giannis,
Don't you love that we have height now? Like it's amazing.
Oh, I love
height. Like, don't you love that we actually have like sizable guys to get out there, defend the wing, get rebounds? Like, yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. It's nice. It's nice to just see sizable guys out there. To see, like, even the 3-guard lineups, right? So many people I saw complain, why is Hand playing the 3-guard lineups? There is a huge difference between starting 3 6-foot point guards and playing 3 6'5" shooting guards that can all shoot, that can all spread the floor, and you got Vanderbilt and AD down low. That's good. That's what you want.
Yeah.
You have 2 defensive juggernauts. You have 2 great rebounders, and then you have 3 really good shooters that can all do multiple things. Like, all of that stuff is huge. There is a big, big difference between Patrick Beverley,
absolutely,
Kendrick Nunn and Dennis Schroeder, or Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverley. Like, there is a big difference when none of those guys can shoot really. None of those guys can size up against bigger guys, right? Than it is when you have, D'Lo, Austin Reeves, and, Troy Brown, or D'Lo, Austin Reeves, and Vanderbilt, or Schroeder, D'Lo, and Reeves. Like, all 3 of those guys can shoot. All 3 of those guys do different things. All 3 of those guys can play defense. All 3 of those guys can operate and just create. Like, it's just so it's not the same. It's not even close to the same.
Well,
it's not even.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's not even comparing apples to oranges. It's comparing apples to cars. Like, it's not the same thing. It's not in the same realm. So that's a big difference as well. But what were you going to say?
No, but like you said, that's what happened before when like Ham was trying to go these 4-guard lineups. Like Mr. Ham, what are you doing? We have 4 guards that like shouldn't be on the court together, for one, all at the same time, and for two, like you said, A, they're not shooters, and C, they don't have the overall fundamental skill set. The reason you can run this 3-guard lineup is because everybody's fairly like well-rounded, right? Even though they have their strong points, they're still like well-rounded. You have Reeves for certain things. You have Reeves for playmaking. Reeves sometimes plays like a point guard. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, we're using him as a point guard.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So you have Reeves for the playmaking. You have D'Lo for the scoring. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and you have Schroeder just for the energy and the intensive, defense. So like, my thing is like with this 3-guard lineup, I don't mind it. Like, yeah, it's a little small, but the thing is, everybody can kind of balance off of each other. And I'll tell you one thing with Vanderbilt, how I would sum him up is like, literally in like one sentence, is like they're at the right place at the right time. Like, he's always, wherever he is on the court, he positions himself like in the right position, right, to get the rebound or whatever. Like, he's one of those guys, who reminds me of, not necessarily play style wise, but kind of just impactful wise, kind of like an Iguodala. No, obviously he's not to that level of Iguodala, not in my like opinion or anything, but if he can get a shot, you know what I mean? Like, it would be dangerous. It would be dangerous. He reminds me of like an Iguodala type player, like to have an impact where it's like, yeah, obviously he's not the number 1 or 2 guy, but you need him to win games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
big body to get the rebounds too. He's
Well, he's a really good defender. He's got a good nose for the ball. He's like I don't I think it's a little early to make this comparison, but I don't think it's that far off from what Pale Fox said. Modern day Rodman.
Okay, sorry.
It's
Rodman, not Rose. Okay, Rodman.
might be the best rebounder in the league. Vando really is. I mean, he's up there in like offensive rebounds, just a nose for the ball. Again, it's a little early. I mean, you're talking about Dennis Rodman, arguably the best rebounder. But I do understand the comparison that Pale Fox is making. I do absolutely get it, and I don't think it's unjustifiable. I mean, he does a lot of the same things, right? Great rebounder.
It's a positioning,
defense, hustle guy, does everything, does the dirty work, doesn't need the ball. If you do give him the ball, he can go to work if you need him to. Like Vanderbilt, if he continues to evolve, and he's 23 years old. I mean, he's young enough to have gotten drafted this past season. I mean, there are literally people that were drafted in this year's draft that are the same age as him. Yeah. So that in and of itself is massive.
And people see his impact too, because even on the poll for this channel, when I was asking like what their most impactful player or what their favorite player, like their favorite new trade was, I need to put Vanderbilt on the list, but I regret not doing that because like everybody commented and was like Vanderbilt. So like I think people see his value too. Like I hope he gets a lot of playtime, like a lot of playtime.
Oh, I think he will. And yeah, like I said, Bale, I'm with you. I completely understand the comparison. And Vanderbilt is better, more refined than Rodman was at 23. I agree. Like I said, I completely get your comparison. It's just when you think Rodman, you're just like, man, like
see, that's a high bar. When you said Rodman, I was like, oof.
But no, I do get the idea. I do get the comparisons in that regard. But Vanderbilt, again, he's a guy. Him and AD are going to be able to cover so much ground defensively. I mean, you saw it in the Laker game, dude. He was at 5 places at once. Like literally, he had a sequence of the exact same sequence I said about a Utah game. He had that sequence in the Laker game where he's like he's over here, he's guarding this guy. That guy, the ball moves over here. He switches to the middle, blocks off the passing lane, gets back over here, blocks comes back over here, knocks it. Like he's just you're just like, dude, this guy is really like, this guy is just incredible. Yeah. Like
imagine him and Christie on the court at the same time. Once like Christie gets like more like gets a little bit more size to him, like imagine.
Once Christie gets his grown man body and Christie develops into like a more consistent just scorer and shooter, which I mean he's been pretty good in general, but being able to just create more.
Yeah.
Dude, him, Vanderbilt, if we keep AD, like all of it, like it doesn't matter. Like
you're not scoring on the team.
Like they're gonna be very good defensively. And that's what we need. It's just nice to have defensive players and defensive guys that can do multiple things. And you look at this new team and you just look and it's refreshing. It gives you this sign of like it's going to be okay, right? It's like the house is on fire. You're just like, no, like everything I have is burning down. Like what is going on? Like I can't, I just lost everything, blah blah blah. And then some guy walks up and goes, oh, here's a settlement check for like $100 million. You're like, that stuff wasn't even worth $100 million. Like that's how I feel right now. You just turned a bunch of scraps that weren't really worth anything into these huge, you just turned a PS3 into a PS5. You're like, no way. Like this just really happened. Like I love it. And I really think Vanderbilt is going to be a huge just needle mover for this team. I really do. But Beasley, moving into Beasley, again, solid defensively. He's a guy, yes, I know people, again, because like I said, I'm at my personal channel, like people were like, how do you feel about Beasley being 0 for 6? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? Beasley is fine. One, like I said, took a couple bad shots that I'm sure even he wants back. But in general, that's his job. You have the ball, shoot the ball. That's why they went and got you. They didn't get you to not shoot the ball and hesitate. I loved how he just kept shooting. He missed. He was 0-5, kept shooting. 0-6, kept shooting.
Well, and that shows confidence in a shooter too when you can keep shooting.
Yes, because all he needs is that one. But
exactly.
That's the thing. And because I have been critical about LeBron in regards to shooting when he's like 0-5, 0-6, there is a big difference between. I just want to preference this because I'm sure somebody's gonna see this and go, well, you've said LeBron needs to stop shooting when he. There's a big difference between LeBron James shooting 7 threes and Malik Beasley shooting 7 threes when Malik Beasley is top 7 in made threes, shooting 40% 3-point shooter. Like there's a big difference between that and LeBron James. And there's a big difference between LeBron James, who can do everything, go get his own basket, get to the rim, just bigger, stronger, faster than everybody, and Malik Beasley, who, he's a shooter. He's not, he can take people off the dribble, stuff like that. But Beasley's ability to just gravitate the defense is huge. We saw it in the Warriors game. Every time he touched the ball, guys ran to him. It's so refreshing than the guys previously. Like I said, with Patrick Beverley, there were times Patrick Beverley would be wide open and guys wouldn't even run out to close on him. They just, hey, if he makes it, he makes it. And if he made it, great. If he did it, justified. And
or like Russ. Russ did get better with his shot, but nevertheless, there were still times where people looked at Russ on the 3-point line and they're like, yeah, I'm not scared of that.
They wanted him to shoot.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You don't want that with Beasley. You leave Beasley open, you let Beasley shoot. More times than not, he's gonna make you pay. And that's just so, again, it's so refreshing. It's so nice to have a guy that can knock down shots from anywhere. He can knock it down from the 3, knock it down from the mid-range. Even when he is having 0-6 nights, you can see the impact. You can see it. You can see the defense have to go close out. You can see the defense needing to challenge it because they know if we don't, he's 0-6 right now, but he hits that one. We're looking up and he's 4 of 10 now, and he's back to his 40%. That's how it is. And so having him defensively, he was solid. He's going to continue to be solid. D'Lo, again, was very surprising defensively. Vanderbilt, obviously, is a defensive monster. These guys were absolutely massive in changing the landscape of this team, like entirely.
you got to give it to Rob and Beasley. I know people are a little questionable, like where he should be in the lineup and everything like that too. But look, hey, no matter where you put him in the lineup, whether he's coming off the bench, whether he's starting, you use him in spots that you need a bucket. And the thing is, okay, so D'Lo, and more so for Russ, which I would have liked to see him kind of play with like Westbrook just a little bit, just because Westbrook likes to he contracts the defense, and then he usually leaves at least 2-3 guys open on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Every shooters, absolutely.
Exactly. And this, oh my goodness, it would be a perfect combination. But that's no problem because D'Lo's a playmaker too. So my thing is too, and you notice with Beasley, he's a spot up shooter, but he's more of a take you off the dribble, hit a little step back. And he
did it in the Warriors game.
His pump fake is nasty. His pump fake is nasty. He gets people with his pump fake so many times. But no, I think that him and Reeves on the court together is a really good shooting duo. Well, obviously and D'Lo, but I would like to see those three kind of just bounce off of each other. I think it would be sweet. I think it'd be nice.
Look, I like the idea of Beasley coming off the bench. He's one of the top 3 makers off the bench. He might even be, because I know he's top 7 in made threes. He might be. I'd have to look. But I think he's somewhere in. I think when you equate to guys off the bench, he's up there. So I don't think he's number 1 because Jordan Poole's played several games off the bench. But anyway, regardless, the point is that having him and his abilities off the bench gives you a constant shooter at all times, which is good, right? So when LeBron gets back, I imagine the starting 5 is going to be something like D'Lo, Reeves, LeBron, AD, and Rui. So now you have, theoretically, all 5 guys can shoot the 3 ball. LeBron's shooting the 3 terrible this year, but still, he's a guy that can knock it down. AD isn't shooting the 3
Well, he
ball
can hit it
very
when
good.
it matters. Is what you know.
Yeah, but I mean, even AD, like, he's not knocking it down well, but we've seen him and his ability to knock down the 3 ball. Rui has shot the 3 ball well. And then you have D'Lo and Reeves, who are both, 38, 40% 3-point shooters. So now you have your shooting, you have your defense, you have all the stages you need. But then our bench unit, you'd have Dennis Schroeder, who he can knock down the 3 ball. He's not as consistent at times, but still a guy that can hit it, light it up. Then you'd have Beasley as your elite shooter off the bench. So boom, now you got those 2 guys. Then you have Vanderbilt, who can be an absolute just defensive monster. And then you have Winning Gabriel. And then you have Mo Bamba, who can shoot the 3 ball and has a 40% 3-point shot for a big man. All of those things are massive. And you have these rotations. I loved seeing the Winning Gabriel, Jared Vanderbilt lineup. That was great. 2 hustle guys that are everywhere, just going after it, getting after it. Those 2 high energy guys. I hope that they keep doing those going forward. I can't wait to see what happens with Mo Bamba. We'll talk about Mo Bamba in another video once he gets a game under his belt. But yeah, just in general, like these 3 guys are the guys that really changed the landscape of this Lakers team in so many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, all 3 of them are better than all the guys we gave away.
Hands down.
So, I mean, that in and of itself is a huge upgrade. You went from who's our 3rd best guy to in a negative light, right?
Yeah.
Like who's the 3rd? Do we even have a 3rd guy to who's the 3rd guy? You got D'Lo, you got
I would still put D'Lo, but I know what you mean.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying just
at least with this team, you can make the argument. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can make
the fact that we can it's who starts, who closes. It's that wasn't even a conversation a week. It was, and if it was a bad conversation of should he be starting? He's terrible, right? Now it's he's starting, but man, this, Beasley in that lineup with that, that might, is that, but the fact that we can even have these conversations now shows the difference between the Lakers a week ago to now.
And that's the thing, everybody looks comfortable though. Did you notice everybody looks comfortable?
The ball moved better. Guys had more energy. Guys seemed happier. Guys seemed more energized. Everything just seemed better. The pace of everything from Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham, I thought, had his best coaching game of the year. He had decisive lineups. The lineups, everyone seemed to have a clear plan to execute. They all executed the plan. He called timeouts accordingly, never let Golden State go on runs that were too far, that got us too far behind. Always kept it tight, always kept it close, made key adjustments when he needed to. That kept us in the game, that allowed us to go on runs, that allowed things to close up. If a guy was grooving and having, best example was at the end of halftime to the 3rd quarter, we go on that run, we're looking good, and usually Ham goes, okay, well, I'm gonna just play the guys that the bench unit or this unit or the starters. No, Ham left the guys in that got us back into the game, that made that push, that made that run. And then those guys continue to do that, continue to keep us in the game, continue to provide, defense and scoring.
Yeah.
Darvin Ham did a great job, but it also helps when you have guys, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It helps when you have pieces that you can confide in and go to and have play and have operate. All of those things are just huge. And so it brings, like I said, just brings such a freshness, such an excitement to this team.
Does. And we just look like an overall, the height on our team, it just looks I don't know. I like seeing the height because it helps. It helps so much. And it's making teams actually have to readjust their offense, which is pivotal. Man, I like what I'm seeing so much. Like I got chills. Like I'm actually really excited. Like,
Oh, I agree. I'm with you 100%. That BI being guarded by Pat Bev will never happen again. I know, seriously, thank you. Let's get dub Lakers. Yes, we absolutely need a dub,
let's do
without a
it.
doubt. But yeah, one last little player I want to talk to about, and then we'll get out of here. But first, Just Beezy came in with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Thank you for helping us out, support the channel. What's up, gang? What's going on? Is it just me, or are y'all hella excited to watch these boys go to work tonight? Oh man, you have no idea.
Facts.
Even without Braun, Lake Show is back, baby. Seriously, beautifully put.
Facts.
I mean,
tell them.
Usually, when LeBron doesn't play, it's like, damn, like, so this is an L, or maybe we can get a win or whatever. This team, it's like LeBron's not playing. It's like, okay, we're good. It's like it's just it's a different feel. It's a different conversation. There's just this excitement. There's just this like, no LeBron, no problem. Let's go. Like like this is honestly a team that I feel like. Not saying that I want this. So let me preference that. But this feels like a team that, like, if LeBron and AD took a night off, we could still win.
True. Very true. Very true.
That's how this feels. Now, the Lakers did win a game without both of them against the Heat.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. Yeah,
that was, like, that felt more of like a fluke than it did.
And it was more. It was more like, hey, everybody getting maximum effort, pushing, like, you know what I mean? Like, it took every strength of the imagination to get that win.
Yeah, I mean, it took like Schroeder going off for like 30 and like,
which doesn't happen often.
Guys
Reeves dropping like 25.
Yeah, just took guys like going off for just games that they couldn't do, and just took like a perfect storm. But this team, like, you look at this team and you go, man, like, no LeBron, no AD, like, we could still win this game. And that, again, for those that are maybe just coming in, LeBron's not playing, but AD's playing. But I'm just speaking generally. Like, this feels like a game where, like, we could go and play, whomever. And it's, I mean, obviously not I wouldn't want to do that against like the Bostons or the Milwaukee's.
Yeah.
But like, I do, like, I feel like, if we were playing like the Knicks.
I want to see it get to Denver, though. As crazy as that sounds, because of how good Denver is. But the thing is, like, we have their number this year. We've already beat them twice. So it's like, I would still try it against, or I want to see it against a Denver. And I don't know about you, but I feel like this team fits more, like, without one or the other. I feel like this team fits more AD than it does LeBron. Like, all right, let's say you just have AD playing, no LeBron, and you have this team. I feel like that fits with him more than it does fit with like just LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, or am I tripping?
No,
I'm talking play style wise, more so than anything.
No, I mean, I get because I mean, like, obviously LeBron's best with shooters, and we got shooters, so that helps, right? Like, to have like Beasley, D'Lo, Reeves, like, around LeBron, that suits better. But what this does do is it gives guys, it gives AD that help, that to where he doesn't have to do so much. He doesn't have to handle so big of a workload on both sides of the ball. Like, Anthony Davis can score 13 points and we could still win. Like, that in and of itself is huge against the Warriors. Against the Warriors at home, where they've only lost 6 games prior. Like, it's very different. Now, obviously, I mean, look, LeBron James, right? This team absolutely suits LeBron James. I do get what you're saying in the sense of, like,
well, I'm not saying he doesn't belong on the team anymore. I'm not saying anything like that, but I'm just saying.
No, but I mean, it's something that you got to look at, because LeBron only has X amount of years. So, like, the big question is, like, what happens after LeBron? Like, would this team still gel and work with AD? I do. I think so. I absolutely do.
Yeah.
I think that this team could still win games, could still overcome certain hurdles. Like I said, this is a team that, like, I really feel like no AD, no LeBron. Okay, like, we can still win. Again, you need those guys to make you a contender. You need those guys. But, like, next season, right? Everybody's gelling. Everyone's figured it out. Chemistry and all that's good. LeBron's going to miss X amount of games next year. AD's going to miss X amount of games next year. The last 2 years, if both of those guys miss, or in many cases, if one of them miss, it's over. You lost. Lakers done. It's a wrap. They ain't winning. But this team feels like, okay, we don't have LeBron for a couple games. We're good. Like, we handle it. And granted, we only played one game. Maybe we feel differently after this game. But I think just looking at this roster, looking at what we saw with the Warriors, knowing what's ahead of us, you just feel more comfortable. You feel more at ease. You feel like, okay, take a breath. I don't have to be all like, oh, come on, like, no, LeBron, no, like, it just feels like we can take a step back and just really kind of go, okay, like, this is a team that can win, right? Yeah. Like, and that, so I'm with you. I'm with you, just Breezy, or we're with you, so definitely. But last little guy that I wanted to talk about before we get on out of here is the other guy. Like I said, we'll talk about Mo Bamba. Once we actually get him and he can play and stuff like that. He's still got one more game on his suspension, so this game he'll after this game he'll be able to come back. So I cannot wait. He should be back against the Pelicans. But the other guy that we could see tonight is Davon Reed. Now, I'm sure many people aren't familiar with Reed, which is understandable. I mean, he's never been like a big standout guy. Like, if you look up his stats, not a guy that's really going to stand out. You look up his stats, he's a 3-point a game guy, whatever. Right? But what he is a 6'5", 27-year-old sizable shooting guard with a reasonable wingspan that is great. I mean, you could even argue borderline elite defender who shoots 38% from three. Many people probably remember him for the Denver and Laker game where he locked up LeBron for one play. That was like when we got him, that seemed to be the consensus where everyone was just like, "Oh, I remember when he locked up LeBron
then
James."
Like LeBron fell or something like that. Yeah.
No, he actually defended him and locked. Like, you can see the plays. Yeah, you can YouTube the play. He's like I said, it was one play, it was one stance, but it was a really good one. And LeBron's got some size on him. He's a guy that can play bigger. He's a guy that can just do multiple things. Good shooter, good defensive player. He's a guy that, he's had some good moments. If I'm not mistaken, one of his career high is only like 17 points per game, but I believe he had a game against the Lakers where he scored like 12 or 15 against us. So he liked to play against the Lakers. He's a guy that can, very likely he's not going to get a bunch of playing time, if at all. But I do think he's a guy that, if given playing time and given an opportunity, he's going to provide you a lot. Like, if you need, say it's the end of the second quarter and you need like a minute of stops and like buckets, I would love to have them play Reed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or it's last play of the game, you need a defensive stop or you're going to lose the game. Put Reed in there. A vet that is not afraid of the moment, a vet that can play some solid defense. Like, you can make an argument that now he might be one of our best on-ball defenders, if not our best on-ball defender. And Ham loves those kind of guys. Those hard-nosed, just gets out of it, just gets after it on
That's why he liked Beverly so much. That's why.
That is
Beverly didn't perform like the old Beverly, but hey,
But hopefully he doesn't. I wouldn't want Reed playing 35, 40 minutes a game. But I wouldn't be mad at all if you get him, 10 to 12 minutes a game or 8 to 12 minutes a game. Where he's just coming in when you're open, shoot it. Other than that, lockdown defense. See that guy over there? Your job is to make sure he doesn't score. And I think Reed can absolutely do that. Problem is our depth chart now just makes it really hard for him, because you got Reeves, you got Schroeder, you got Russ, you got Beasley, you got all of these guys that can now play the two.
Yeah.
Right. We went from a bunch of point guards to a bunch of essential shooting guards, which is, again, an upgrade. I'm all for
shooting guards. I can almost play the point guards too. So it's
several of them can. Yeah.
See, but I love the well-roundedness, though. You know what I mean? And a couple of them can actually even play the three. Well, I mean, Reeves is supposed to, but I'm saying the thing is, I love the rounded of the team. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I agree with you. I wouldn't mind Reed in like the thing is he's very very long. Like his arms, his
Yeah.
arms are like a mile long. Like I'm not like exaggerating. His arms are very long. So like I think like shot blocking and things like that are going to be pivotal. I don't, unfortunately though, I don't see him getting a lot of play time. Hey, it would be cool if he, like I said, if he come in, make some stops. As crazy as this will sound to most people, but I think if you really look at it, like player per player, I think he had a more potential defensive impact than like Thomas Bryant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And most people would either agree with me or disagree. But when you look at it, I think that you know what I mean because I don't. Unfortunately, Thomas Bryant didn't do what we would have needed him
I
to
mean,
on
look,
defense.
Thomas Bryant deserves credit for what he did
No,
for
agree.
us.
And I'm not trying to take anything away from him.
Yeah.
100%.
Defensively, he was terrible.
Yes,
Defensively,
he was.
he was an open door defensively. But
Yeah.
but him holding it down on the offensive end, being a running big. I mean, I really like that. But like when it comes to Devon, I wouldn't mind seeing like a lineup of like Reeves, Devon, Vanderbilt, AD, and maybe like Gabriel,
See,
right? Just
that's a
or
pure
like just
strong
or
defensive lineup.
even Rui, like
Yeah.
just have size, defense, hard nosed guys that could do like you got your shooters, you got everything. Like I would love to see a defensive lineup that way that looks like that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind that at all, and I think that could really, just help impact the game in many ways. But I don't know. I'm really excited to just see this Lakers team. We're only going to get better. And even worst case scenario, let's say we don't make the playoffs. Let's say the uphill battle's too much to climb. Say we don't make the playoffs. Got the rest of the season. We got the off season. We got training camp. We got preseason to figure it out, and now we can contend for the next few years until LeBron leaves, and then we figure it out. You know what? Maybe at that point, maybe Max Christie becomes the guy. Maybe Rui takes that next step, and he turns into like a 20-point per game guy, and it's like, man, here we go. We got our new star. Like, there's many options we have. Or Vanderbilt, maybe Vanderbilt develops a shot, becomes an elite 3-point shooter, and then he's one of the best two-way guys in the league. It sounds far-fetched until it happens. I mean, 23 years old. There's a lot of players in the league right now that people didn't think would be anything until they take that step. So I do. I really like this team. I really like the sort of future and the road that we have ahead of us. And I really do think that we get the W tonight. But what are your closing thoughts before we get out of here? You got anything? Any closing?
Yeah, no. I do think that we get the W tonight. I really hope because I feel like 2 in a row with the new squad will really like put some momentum. 2 in a row without LeBron, like I feel like that's gonna put some like air underneath our wings. And I've been racking my brain asking the question, and just like a little closing thought to leave everybody with. Like I'm very, very, and I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because, like I said, we still got a half a season to play. But like, I'm really curious. Like I feel like this is not it. I feel like they're going to add a cherry on the top in the offseason. I don't know if it's going to be Kyrie. I don't know. But you have to think with these type of trades, like the front office is gearing up for something. They either did this just to put a good team around AD and LeBron for the next couple years, or they said, we're going to put all these key role good player guys, and then we're going to add another third essential strong piece. So I don't know. I'm very, very curious.
It's possible. You got a lot of tradable.
No, you do. So
contracts.
is there exactly? So it's like like I'm wondering. I'm like what kind of play was this? Was this a long term? Let's build off of this.
I mean, it's a play for flexibility, is what
Yeah.
it is. What this did is it made us better, gave us depth, gave us talent, but it kept flexibility going forward. So
Yeah.
if that star does become available, right? Like Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown might leave Boston after next season. That's a real concern Boston has. It's one of the reasons Jaylen Brown, the Celtics considered trading Jaylen Brown for like Kevin Durant or something like that, right? That's why Jaylen Brown was all upset, all of those things, because there's this fear of like he wants to be the guy. What happens if Jaylen Brown wants out? And he's like, I'm done. I'm just using him as an example. I'm not saying he would. I'm not saying anything. But before, you had no way to get him. Now, if that happens, you could put together a real package. You could go, D'Lo in some picks to just give you another guy. Or you could go like Mo Bamba, if he turns out to be something, right? Great. Let's say it's kind of interesting. His contract's non-guaranteed. Teams might value a non-guaranteed $10 million contract. Like, oh, man, I could get this guy and waive him and it doesn't cost me anything. Like, that's great. Right? Like, it gives them flexibility if they need to go get another star. I'm not saying that they should. I like the depth route. I like what we got. Mm-hmm. But even after LeBron and AD, right? Say, in 2 years, let's say we win a championship or two, right? Yeah. LeBron's done. He goes to play with his son. And it's like, okay, well, do we keep AD or do we trade AD? If we trade AD, or let him go, let's say he just leaves, right? Yeah. Well, we have all these pieces. Now all we need are the stars. Yeah. Okay, maybe we don't even need 2 stars. Maybe it's like D'Lo, he could go. I mean, he's putting up 17. Can he give us 25 if he's the number 2 guy? Sure. Rui Hachimura, he's bumped up from 13 to 17 a game. Jared Vanderbilt now has a shot. Like the potential and possibilities are massive. Yeah. And that's what's good. That's something we didn't have a week ago. We didn't have flexibility. We didn't have like, oh, well, maybe we could go do this. Maybe we could go do that. We have guys that are valuable that other teams would actually want, right? Like how many teams were like, oh, man, I want Patrick Beverley at $13 million. No one. But you know what teams might look at is like, man,
I want D'Lo.
I want D'Lo. We love Beasley. We would love Vanderbilt. We would love Rui. We would love all these guys. That's the difference. That's where as it stands. But anyway, again, any parting words before we get out of here? Then we can go let everyone watch their game.
No, guys, enjoy the game. This was fun and excited to see what happens at the end of the season. Oh, and the All-Star weekend is upon us. Yes. Excited.
Right around the corner. And everybody, thank you all so very much for hanging out with us. Definitely after the game tonight, I'll be doing my post-game stream as I always do. Again, I just put a link for those that aren't subscribed. I'm sure most, if not all of you, are subscribed to my own personal channel. Link in the chat. If you're not, click that link. I'll be on the live stream post game, and hopefully we're talking about a W. Still got to get Jake a channel at some point, his own independent channel. But nonetheless, if you haven't subscribed to this channel with me and Jake, please hit that subscribe button. We just got over 3K, which is awesome. I'm sure there are a couple of you that haven't hit that subscribe button or that like button. If you haven't done either, make sure you hit both of those on the way out. Outside of that, let's go get this W, and we appreciate you and see you all in the next one.